What up, everybody? How was all doing? Hope all is well. And if not, hope we get back on track sooner than later. Singing at the thing, know what I mean? Alright, now continuing on the vibe. The Aboriginal Americans, FBA, you know what I'm saying? Aboriginal of the Americas. The North Continent, South Continent, Caribbean Islands. Just imagine and think back. Where people just living their lives. No interruption. Families. Groups throughout the land. You know what I'm saying? Remember, look at the American land. The continent is pretty big. So it's just spread out. East Coast to West Coast, North to South. Once in a documentary that said that in the cold times, right, for the Northlands, in the cold times, they would move and go down to the South. You know, they leave their abode, their homes and everything, leave the farmland and everything, and then go to the South. And after the cold times, they come back up to the North and, you know. So imagine they were just living their lives, the FBAs. And then, as time goes, you know how the story go. People started venturing throughout the world. So at first, the Europeans started coming in, started settling in, started mixing in with the natives, the Aboriginal peoples, you know, the people of the land. They started mixing in, living and stuff. Groups here, groups there, small groups. You know what I'm saying? And as time goes by, it was almost like a setup. It's like send the first wave of people to, you know, get it warmed up, get it cool and everything. You know? And then send the people to take it over. Send the people to set the governmental systems and make the laws and take the land. Take the land from the massive people that was already living here in their land with their laws and their rules and their structure. And that's the history that they're not breaking down. You know? They made laws. One is called Indian Removal Act. Indians are the people that lived on the land. That's what, at least, that's how they tell us in the books. You know? They call them Indians. You know how the story goes, right? Because I said it before. But if you haven't heard it, and if you heard it before, just, you know, hold tight for whoever heard the story. What I've heard is this. When Christopher Columbus, who supposed to discovered America, right? When he was sailing, he set sail to go to India, north in Europe. You know what I'm saying? North. Somehow, some way, he got off course and landed in somewhere in the islands. And this was new lands and new ventures. And he's like, yo, hold up, this ain't India. But the inhabitants of the land, the people that lived on the land, they looked like those people that live in India, who we're going to go check. Because whatever business they were doing in India, they were obviously black people, you know what I'm saying? Because when he saw those people on those lands, he thought he was in India for a second, but he went, no, we're not. Hold on, who are these? But they look like the people in India. And that's how come to call the people of the Americas Indians. So now, fast forward to when they're taking over, you know, these rich people, these aristocrats, these people with endless pockets. They set the system up and they use the people to maintain the system. Right? They made an Indian Removal Act because they need the land, they need the space. And that's the system that came and took over the land from the people that was already here. Changed their name and everything because, remember, they're big and bad, so whatever they say goes, so they call them Indians. And they would have to move, and they would take the land, and they would have to move and move and move. It's crazy. And the thing is this, the people had to move to lands that was uninhabited, because remember, America is huge. And they would go and they would set it up, and they would set up their families and set up their towns, and they would live. And then next thing you know, these people want to expand now, and they want to come and take over. And the history is long, and the history is insane, and the history is crazy. But all the stuff is written down in history in the old truth, in the old days when they were telling the truth and the reality of what really went down. They don't want you to know the understanding of what really went on. To this day, the history is hidden. But it's a high vibration, and it's the information age, and I be feeling the vibe, you know what I'm saying? And here we are, just like thinking about it for a second, man. FBA, Foundation Black American. This is their land, but it's got been taken over. You know, got conquered, basically. And then the new system set up shop on the old system, but remember, this was all of the Americas, yo. It was inhabited, yo. People lived everywhere, yo. Took a long time, hundreds of years. Well, I can't say that much because it's only 200 and something years since the Revolutionary War and all of that they call it. You know what I'm saying? That's when they fought amongst themselves for the land. Because remember, by 1700 they conquered everything. You know, because look at the timeline, right? Columbus buck upon the place. Columbus found the place at the end of the 1400s, beginning of the 15th century. So at the end of the 1400s and the beginning of the 15th century, Columbus supposedly found the Americas with the new Indians that's living there. And they had no weapons. They were peaceful, so they were easy to be conquered. And as you can see, from 1500 to what, 17 to almost to the end of 17 something, it took them to took over, implement the system, implement the laws, have the government running, and so forth. Right? Because 4th of July is in 1700 something. Gotta look at the history, yo. But the thing about it is this: the people from the land, the people of the land, the FBA, they're still on the land. They never went nowhere. But with the new system in place, they set it up where everybody can come from all over the world. Everybody can come everywhere, from everywhere, from over there, from over here, from over there, everywhere, and come. You know what I'm saying? So not everybody's here, the epicenter of the world. You know what I'm saying? Laws, rules, immigration laws. Now you see why I go on with the immigration. You know, ICE is running up on people that's not here, that doesn't belong here, illegals. But there's always been illegals forever, right? Wasn't them illegal for running up in the place and taking over the land from the people? Because remember, the people that lived on the land, the Aboriginal people of the land, they had their laws, they had their rules. You know what I'm saying? They had the communities set up. They had their different nations set up throughout the land. Because America, you gotta think about the Americas now. The continent is huge. The North Continent. Then you have the South Continent. Huge. But these people were organized. The Aboriginal people were organized. They weren't just running around crazy. They had rules and laws. Tribes had their chiefs. You already know how that go. Chiefs were the rulers. They had the healers. They had their way of life. They were living and having their experience, just like people having their experience now. But it's kind of being crazy technology at our times now. Not even technology. I can imagine technology was back then, was there at some point, but who knows? But we're going to get into all of that because this is the Holding the Vibe podcast. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get into all of that as the vibration comes in. And FBA, foundation black American got to understand they're the aboriginal people of the land, of the Americans. You know what I'm saying? Because what we're going to do is all those tribes, all those nations, all those families throughout the land, East Coast, West Coast, General style. And that's the history we're talking about. Know what I mean? And I'm CLP, holding the vibe, and I will catch y'all on the next vibration. It's all love. John style.